5 seconds. Mr. Deputy Chairman, sir, for the last 3 or 4 days, we had the privilege of listening to a number of speeches on the budget of this year. Sir, I cannot claim that I heard all the speeches because I was handicapped as the discussion on the budget was going on simultaneously in both houses. Therefore, I had to satisfy myself with listening to some speeches here and going through the speeches of some other members as far as I could do that. Sir, naturally, the budget was criticized by some people and it was welcomed by others. It is very natural that the budget cannot be expected to be welcomed on all hands. But even then, I can say that this budget escaped much of the severe criticism that was expected. There may be some reasons for it, and I need not go into those reasons. I try to analyze the speeches of the members who criticized the budget, and I find that there are 3 or 4 types of criticism in this house. One type of criticism is a condemnation of all the policies of the government. Naturally, they have condemned the budget as such. According to them, all the policies of the government of India are wrongly conceived, wrongly implemented, and so on and so forth. There is the other type of criticism where the government has been criticized for lack of policies. So, one group is saying that there are no policies at all, and the other is saying that we have got policies but not good policies. Of course, members from this side of the house welcomed the budget, saw the good points of the budget, and at the same time, they also had some criticism to offer. This is very rightly so because I also cannot claim that everything in the budget is something that should be praised, not because the budget is faulty, but because the situation in which we are drawing up the budget has some difficult aspects. I will now try to deal with the different groups of criticism and try to show what the major good points are in the budget. Sir, during the last 4 years, we are dealing with a peculiar economic situation in this country. It is being dealt with by the finance minister according to the philosophy in which he believes. The philosophy is that we have to see that we do not lose sight of our important economic and social objectives. Our objective is the objective of socialism, elimination of inequality, and giving social justice to the vast masses of the people through economic progress and through economic growth. And this is the basic philosophy which we are applying to this problem. We are passing through difficult times and we are facing certain difficult challenges. When making a difficult journey, one must keep one's own perspective very clear and must, at the same time, keep faith in oneself and in one's objectives or principles. This is what we are doing, and this is what has guided the formulation of this year's budget. One of the grand issues of the present grave economic realities is inflation. Sir, can anybody expect that merely through one budget one can immediately bring about complete disappearance of inflationary force? It is just not possible because the budget is not expected to be a miraculous instrument. But certainly, the most important factor to be considered is whether this budget has helped in the present inflationary climate and whether it has made a very serious and genuine effort for economic growth. There are different ways how you can fight inflation through economic activities, but when you think of fighting inflation through a budget, I would say that there are two tests by which the budget can be judged. First, it has to be seen whether the resources are properly applied for the economic growth of the vital sectors. In this budget, despite all the inflationary forces, despite all the deficit financing that we had, and despite all the difficulties of raising the resources through taxation, we have made an effort to make more provisions for the growth of important sectors like coal, steel, chemicals, and transport. It is only through making efforts for the strength and growth of the economy that we can fight inflation successfully, and therefore I claim that this budget is, in that sense, an anti-inflationary budget. Now, coming to the other test, I can say that the tax efforts that are made in this budget are non-inflationary in character. I have made tax efforts through indirect taxation, and I have given some relief indirect taxation. These are the two major areas of tax efforts. I would like to say that under the category of indirect taxes, the selective approach for choosing the items for taxation is such that you cannot call the items to be commodities of mass consumption. Another thing that we have tried is the introduction of a dual pricing policy. We have introduced it in the case of steel, and this is certainly a new approach. I am sure if we apply the principle of dual pricing in select commodities, we will be able to control black marketing. Now, some members made a mention that there is no reference to black money anywhere in the budget speech. It is true that those words as such are not used in this speech, but the problem has not been lost sight of, and it is being carefully watched. There is no doubt that black money is created by evasion of taxes, and I do not think there are any two views about it. There are certain antisocial attitudes, and that is why there is tax evasion. Greediness coupled with dishonesty also produces tax evasion. I personally feel that this question can be dealt with effectively only if we try to deal with the problem of tax evasion. This is the basic thing in the case of black money. Sir, it is very difficult to deal with every point that has been raised in the course of the debate, but I have tried to deal with the major areas of criticism and the major direction in which we are trying to deal with them.